Welcome to Paul's Heart. I'm Paul, author of the book Paul's Heart Life as a Dad and a 35-Year Cancer Survivor, available on Amazon. If there's one thing tougher than dealing with a diagnosis of cancer, it's dealing with cancer during the holidays. Okay, along with the holidays, for many people comes depression. And depression definitely becomes a factor for many who are dealing with a cancer diagnosis. There's a way to deal with that, but first I want to stress it's completely normal if this happens to you. Okay? It's okay to not be okay. What you need to do is you need to prioritize yourself, set realistic expectations. Don't be afraid to ask for help. And most importantly, allow yourself to feel the emotions that you're dealing with rather than forcing, holiday cheer. Like many of you, I was diagnosed just before the holidays. This was 38 years ago now, but I remember everything clear as day when it happened. The last thing I felt like doing was celebrating Christmas and New Year's and anything else at that point. It took some time. I had to deal with all the emotions that I had, the depression, the anger. I had to deal with fatigue from my treatments that I had already begun. Simple thing, going to an office Christmas party. I knew all my coworkers, they all knew I had cancer. Shouldn't have been a big deal until I went to cut the meat on my plate during dinner. And one of the side effects from the chemo that I had been taking um, had caused cramping in my hands, and I couldn't hold on to my utensils to cut the meat. Embarrassing and depressing. And the last time that I allowed myself to do that to myself in front of others. It's normal to feel these feelings and accept them when they happen. Okay? Another year it was dealing with going to family get-togethers. I didn't feel like going. I wasn't feeling comfortable. I definitely didn't feel energetic, but I was getting pounded by others. You need to come, you need to represent, and stuff like that. Okay, if you're dealing with these feelings, whether they be mental, whether they be physical, you've got to make yourself the priority. And that's okay. It's on everybody else if they can't accept what you're going through. You know, be kind to yourself. Communicate as best as you can that you try to um, get them to understand. Perhaps you may have to modify your traditions, um, you know, just adapt them to, lower energy. Learn to say no if you definitely don't feel like going. And then prioritize. Maybe there are some things that are more important than others during this holiday season, and you definitely want to make those. So your decision might have to be to sacrifice one thing to attend another. You know, make sure that you're taking care of yourself. This is just as physical care is just as important as dealing with depression and mental care. You got to take care of your physical self. You know, one thing you can do during your treatments, making sure that you get plenty of rest, hydrate, making sure that you're eating right, and even if it's slight exercise, walking. Okay, that can help your mood and your stress. Allow yourself to relax. You may be thinking, well, I'm going through cancer treatments. I'm, tired as it is. I can't be any more relaxed. No, go out, get yourself some fresh air, maybe read a book, take a bath. For me, it was always listening to music. If you have any stress relief apps on your phone, things like that. You don't necessarily have to take any kind of medication, though there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And of course, we also have the option of CBD and marijuana and stuff. But make sure you take care of your mental health and your physical health. And then, if you can, try to establish some new routines that you learn your waves of ups and downs, when you feel more energetic, when you don't, and learning to adapt to that. And then the third part is seeking support. Okay, and today there's support all over the place. Back in 1988, when I was treated, I didn't have the internet, I didn't have social media. Okay, whereas today you have all kinds of support here on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. You can always find groups that have cancer experiences, that have similar cancer experiences. For instance, I participate in several Hodgkin's lymphoma pages. I also participate in other pages for the heart, for the lungs. You want to be careful with those peer groups because you want to make sure that they're being modified properly and securely, that your information is safe, that you don't have anybody playing doctor online. Okay, I do not hide the fact. I tell in every video, I make this disclaimer at least once, I'm not a doctor. Okay, and I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm relating similar experiences that I had, even if they were 38 years ago, especially when it comes to the emotions, they're still the same today. You just have more options how to deal with them. You can reach out to your oncologist and ask them to refer you to a therapist, a counselor, a social worker. That's what I had, 38 years ago. There is no stigma whatsoever if you have to reach out to someone to talk to. It can be a real game changer with lifting you up where you needed it. Peer support is great because it lets you know that what you're feeling is normal because other people feel the same way that you do. We've been there. We know what it's like. Professional counselors, they can help give you directions, different techniques to help deal with your thoughts. Be honest with yourself. If you're really feeling this way, don't deny yourself. Deal with it. Face it. Talk to somebody. Okay? Don't be pressured by people saying, you're just being negative. No, it's not. You're dealing with legitimate feelings that don't deserve to be blown off. They deserve to be dealt with and helped and supported. Okay? Manage your emotions, acknowledge them. Okay? Being dealt the cancer card is a big deal. Okay? Give yourself permission to recognize how hard this is to deal with. I can admit to you, that's something I don't give myself the opportunity to do. I never have. And I have so many other professionals try to encourage me to do that. Hey, Paul, learn to take it easy on yourself. I can't. But that's what you really need to do. Give yourself permission to feel sad, to feel angry about your diagnosis and the impact that it has, during your holidays. Find small pleasures. Okay, watching favorite movies. If you like Christmas movies or whatever, or however you like to spend your quiet times, and perhaps create new happy memories. Thinking of things that you're grateful for, that you have a gratitude for. Look for the things that still are there in your life that are good for you. Okay, yes, you're dealing with cancer, it's a bad thing, but you still have good things going on in your life, and don't close your eyes to that. Finally, talk to your healthcare team, your oncologist, your oncology nurse, any of the techs that you deal with. Ask if there's anywhere else that you can turn. Depression is real, okay, and it's normal. And you can get through this. Until next time, this is Paul's Heart.